Konnichiwa. We just got back from our trip in Japan, and it was absolutely mind-blowing. So, my wife, Brooke, her mom, Gay, half Japanese. And so I didn't ever know Gay. She passed when my wife was 19. So my wife and my stepson Gryphon have Japanese heritage. And Gryphon, 21, going to school at UNC Chapel Hill, had been studying Japanese. And he wanted to go do the semester abroad and ended up in Nagoya. So my wife Brooke was planning on going to visit him over there, and I wanted to go too, but I needed to pick up some work to cover expenses. So I got connected with Kazuhiro Inaba. I had known him since maybe 2011 or something like that. We played a gig at Brown's Diner. Kurt Story, I think, had put together. And so Kaz put together a great tour, so I'm gonna tell you about it.
Where are you going, babe?
To the temple. The oldest Buddhist temple in Tokyo. Sensoji.
Sensoji. Come se
Look at that green deer.
Just want to jump in here the next day and say a couple things I forgot. The first thing I want to say is that this is a long video. Just wanted to tell kind of as much as I could the whole story in a good way. It's quite long. So there's that. And I want to say that the trip was really humbling in the best way. Thought I was better than I was, and I wasn't that good. I thought I was doing worse than I was, and it wasn't that bad. So it was a balance of the elation and the disappointment in my own shortcomings. But we need those reality checks that we're not better than we are, and we're not worse than we are. So anyway, I just wanted to add this in there back to the regular video. So it was the first time I was going to a Buddhist country. Buddhist and Shinto religions mainly there primarily, and I practice Buddhism. I've been a daily meditator for about 10 years and just love the wisdom of the Dharma. It's changed my life in so many good ways. And so the idea of being in a country that practices so much Buddhism was very cool for me. And it just blew the doors off of my mind in so many different ways. The main thing that is so different about Japan compared to America is that in Japan, the ideal social dynamic prioritizes the collective over the individual. And so collective harmony, collective group experience more important than the individual, which is how we do things over here in the States. And both of them have their strengths and places that we can learn from each other and all that. But it was so peaceful over there, just walking around the big cities, peaceful, walking around the country, peaceful, standing in line, peaceful. It was very peaceful, and I enjoyed that so much. One of the main things I learned is a lesson I've been trying to learn for such a long time, which is that I don't have to try so hard to be something I'm not. Yeah, I don't have to try so hard to be something. I don't have to try so hard to be. It's liberating. It's nice. So mind is feeling more liberation after being in Japan. So Kaz is so great. He, in a way, is the ultimate ambassador for bluegrass music in Japan. He had come to the States in 1982. His dad played the banjo, and they were both big, huge fans of Don Stover, who was a banjo player and went to Japan back in the 70s. So Kaz is an amazing banjo player, great guitar player, wonderful singer, and he has brought folks over to Japan, and so much fun to play with. So getting to know Kaz more was one of the best parts about the whole tour. He speaks excellent fluent English with a little bit of a southern accent, if you can believe that. I'm not gonna try to like imitate it, but the way he pronounces some words reflects his experience with the southern dialect. And so that was a trip, and it was just wonderful to hear that little bit of the southern accent all the way in Japan. One of the first things I learned was arigato gozaimasu, which means thank you very much. And it's so funny to be a 45-year-old middle-aged person trying to learn stuff. And this helps me a lot with my own students, because the young mind, you know, when you're a teenager, when you're 20, the neuroplasticity, the ability to learn stuff so much quicker. So even just learning 2 words in Japanese, and I'd already known arigato, I guess, was challenging. Just remember, like, arigato gozaimasu, and you're gonna say it a lot. It was funny just how challenging that was, especially like in the moment. It's like you might be sitting there by yourself and you can remember arigato gozaimasu, but when it's time to say it, or when it's time to say hello, konnichiwa, you go blank. And so, you know, I have so much compassion for students in that same situation musically. Time to kick off Old Joe Clark. I can't remember how it goes. How's it go? You know. So that's nicely reflective, because I'm the same way. It's hard to learn stuff as a middle-aged person. So 13, 14 hours got to Tokyo, and as soon as we get there, it's time to start learning how to do the Japanese trains. And so that's how you get around in Japan, the trains. So on our first day, we went to our first temple. Going to the temples was in the shrines, the Buddhist temples and the Shinto shrines. Shinto is the older religion in Japan, which is basically like worshiping nature, believing that all the rocks and the mountains and the waters and waterfalls and the trees and the plants, they all have spirits, and it's good to acknowledge that and be in good harmony with them, because they have the beautiful Buddhist temples and the beautiful Shinto shrines. And we went there and we said some prayers. Of course, we'd go see many more temples and shrines, but that was a good way to start the trip. We had a couple days off, at least one day off before the first gig. And then we went to this like cool art exhibition thing. It's really like trippy and unusual and fun. And the ramen was the absolute best I had ever had. I was about to say I'm not a foodie, but maybe I am a foodie now. And so that was our first day in Tokyo. The next day was the first gig at this place called Rocky Top in Tokyo. And I had heard about this place, and I think maybe I had seen some videos that Kaz had posted about it. But it was wonderful way to start the tour. Walked in there, and then, you know, Kaz is there, and one of the best bass players in Japan also. And so we rehearsed the music there. I had sent him a list of songs that I was wanting to do, mostly traditional, pretty straight over the plate, hardcore bluegrass. And then Walking West to Memphis, a song that I wrote a long time ago, and West Dakota Rose. And so we rehearsed, and, you know, Kaz is an excellent rhythm guitar player and a really good singer. He can sing lead and he can sing all the parts. And so things were feeling good. And it was a little place, Rocky Top, small place, maybe room for about 20 people. And there was a lady that owns the place, or works the place, that was, I think, about 90 years old, just, you know, serving folks there for a long time. Maybe, I can't remember how old that place is, 30 or 40 years. But the show went great. And so this is the first show, and I didn't know exactly what to expect. But one of the fun things, Brooke was there. And so just the whole premise of her being there to watch us play our first gig was cool. And then my good friend Mariko Ono was also there. And so she lives in Japan. She's a guitar player, loves bluegrass. I had known her in Nashville back maybe 10, 15 years ago. So she was there with her son, Nash Greer. Nash's father is the amazing David Greer, and Nash is a really good fiddle player. And so it was really cool to see both of them, familiar faces. Nash is sweet, he's like 7 or 8 years old. And so, yeah, we got into the first set and started off with the Nashville Blues, Kaz singing lead. And then he's mostly speaking in Japanese to the audience. And he's introducing me, and I don't know exactly what he's saying, but telling them about my history with the bluegrass, and then he'd feature me on, walking west to Memphis, and I tell them it's the Bluegrass Story Tour. So we're telling stories and we're singing songs, just to kind of give people more context instead of just like song. Now we're gonna slow it down, song. Telling about the songs, telling what they mean, what the story is, or why they're important. So it's good to teach as they're going along. Kaz has a lot of students in Japan, and that's a beautiful way that he presents the music, to tell people about the songs, provide context. And we're telling stories about, Bill Monroe and Jimmy Martin and the Stanley Brothers, and just kind of anything we can think of in the moment. But the audience was excellent. We got to meet Kaz's daughter and son, and Kaz's daughter, Alyssa, got up and sang with one of her friends. They sang that song, and let's keep following Jesus. It was great. Just beautiful voices. And so that was one of the highlights of the show there too. So that was the first show, Rocky Top. I wanted to learn a Japanese folk song, a folk melody. And so Kaz sent me a couple of songs that were popular. And the second one he sent really landed with me in an intuitive way. I kind of felt like, not that I already knew it, but something about it felt familiar. And it was called Hamabe no Uta, which can translate to like the beach song or the seashore song. It's a song about, walking on the beach. And so I learned that, and we ended up playing it, 2 or 3 times. It's just a beautiful melody. And that was one of my favorite parts about the whole trip, learning this song, Hamabe no Uta, the seashore song or the beach song. And so the next day we went to Nagoya to see Gryphon, my stepson, and he met us at this place called Armadillo, which was another little small bar that had been having bluegrass there for 30 years or something like that. Kaz's brother, Masatoshi, who is a wonderful mandolin player, he met us there, and that's where he lives. And he got up with Kaz, and they opened the second set. And that was maybe the best audience that we had for the whole tour, because there were quite a few people there that played bluegrass music. And so some of the folks that I ended up teaching a workshop the next day in Nagoya, and some of the folks who were attending the workshop were at the show, mandolin players. And so, another thing. So, I play gigs here and there, but I play out on the road so infrequently, I almost never really get into the good kind of practice that I felt when I used to try to make my living playing music. Just really feeling fluid. And so at some point in the tour, that started to happen. It might have been because I was taking basically every break in every song. Kaz would take a little break here or there, but I was really playing a lot of mandolin on each show, so I was starting to feel the fluidity and the finesse come back a little bit. And that was nice, because I don't know, I wasn't totally sure that I could get back to that place of fluidity that I had maybe 10 years ago when I was playing a lot. And it came back, different. But also, I've been playing my new Randy Wood mandolin for 3 years now, and just getting to know it. It's so different than the 1981 Randy Wood that I played for so long. It's taken a long time for the real resonance and body of the sound to come in. It always had a really nice clear top end, but the big woofy kind of bassy mid-bass chop. It's taken a long time to come in, and so like the touch very different than the older Randy Wood mandolin. But I felt like I was making good friends with it, and that's might have been the best that I felt playing it since I've gotten it. Kind of makes me want to grab right now and just play a little bit, but I'm not going to. Keep talking. Another thing about that second show that I thought, on the first one, I had been doing some songs that I haven't performed too much on stage, like When the Golden Leaves Begin to Fall, and this kind of rare Monroe song called Left on the Street. Wasn't one that I had a lot of experience singing on stage. I was like, okay, I need to sing the Worried Man Blues. And so I sang the Worried Man Blues on that second show, and it just really helped me because it's a simple song and I know it very well, and helped me find my center. All that to say, it was kind of a learnable moment for me to do something simple that you know you can perform well under pressure or with the chaos. You know, I talk about chaos practice sometimes, and so that one felt like I could do really good with. And Kaz was singing a great tenor part on it. Kaz is cool because he spent so much time in the Southeast. When he's singing, some of that comes out. It's cool. The next day, did the first workshop in Nagoya. Masatoshi, Kaz's brother, was helping organize that. We got the slidey lick going, and we went through 3 pillars of practice, and I did this thing called 1 point advice, which is basically like each person plays a song, and then I make comments, hopefully, you know, reflect some good things and constructive criticism. That was the first time I had heard about it in that kind of way. 1 point advice. That was cool. So the next day, Brooke and Gryphon and I got on the bullet train, which is so cool. It goes so fast, maybe like 200 miles an hour. And we went up to Osaka for the next gig, which was at a place called 5th Street. And this was a cool gig because my good friend Shin Akimoto, who is probably maybe the best Monroe style mandolin player in Japan. He's real good friends with Compton. He's just really deep into the grass. I had known him for years at IBMA, and he had taught me things. Like I remember standing in the hallway and he showed me how to play the opening lick of Lockwood. He's like, oh yeah, many secrets. So yeah, Osaka, 5th Street, Shin, great. He got up and played. We had a great jam session. We also had 3 other special guests, guitar, singing, fiddle, and bass. And so it was a great show. And we had a great jam session out on the roof, and really good to connect with Shin. And, you know, his mandolin playing, we got to play some stuff, twins, and get into some of the deep catalog of Monroe stuff. The next day, we went up into the mountains near Osaka and went to a beautiful Buddhist temple called Katsuoji, where they had all these little prayer dolls, like thousands of little prayer dolls called Daruma that people would get and then write prayers on them and then leave them around the shrine, different places. There was a beautiful lake there, and it was misty and just really had the vibe, and that was really cool. And so I wrote my prayer on the doll there, and that felt really good to do. We saw one of the monks there that was beating a really big, huge drum and chanting. That was cool. Loved that a lot. And then we went to a beautiful waterfall afterwards and kind of hiked down to it. Just gorgeous. We went down to the waterfall, and Brooke and Gryphon and I had the idea to sing a song. And so I had the idea that Brooke should pick the song since she was the most Japanese. And she chose the most perfect song. It was a blessing to the water. And that really felt like it moved some energy in a good way, and felt like there was some more peace in our fields. Just sharing that moment together, that was one of the highlights of the tour, or the trip for me, and maybe them too. That was really special. And so I went to Nishinomiya to meet Kaz at a radio station where he has had a radio show for a number of years. I think he's done over 100 radio shows there. And so we played guitars. He had a wonderful old Henderson there, and also a bourgeois guitar that's new. I think it's called the Country Boy. And so I was playing that. We switched a little bit. And Kaz is one of the best guitar players you can ever hear, especially if you like the traditional melodic sound of the bluegrass guitar. He's a melody player, and boy, he can get that good tone out of there too. That was an interesting place, for me. So one of the places that I don't know how to say struggle, but have found a dynamic to try to understand more is like how loud to play and how assertively confident to play. I think for most of my life, I have erred, maybe that's not the right way to say it, I have played louder, more aggressively, more assertively than is subjectively good for the music. And so I found myself, because I'm a person that kind of swings from one polar opposite to the other, looking for the middle. And so play too loud, too hard, play too quiet, too soft, and then find the middle in there. So like when I was playing, more quietly, Kaz would come in there with this big, I don't want to say loud, but assertive, beautiful, strong tone. Like I would just be kind of playing like a little bit quiet. He'd come in there big and strong. And it's good. And it's nice contrast, because maybe if I was playing really loud, then he would have done something else or done the same thing, who knows. But it was like, okay, here's Kaz coming in there with the big tone. And that was fun. We talked about, this and that, and it was really fun. At the end, he played What a Friend We Have in Jesus, and it was the best arrangement I've ever heard of that, instrumentally for sure. That was really a lot of fun to accompany him with that. That was one of the musical highlights for me. And so Brooke went with me to the next show, which was a Kaz solo show at this place called Fort Worth in Nishinomiya. And it's like a Texas-style roadhouse bar, with all the pictures, the 8x10s of the country stars from the 80s and the 90s, and the Longhorn, on the wall, and all that. Brooke drank some sake, and she liked that, and watched Kaz do his thing, and he got me up on both of the sets that he did, and that was a lot of fun. That might have been the first place that we did the Seashore, the beach song. I can't remember for sure. But then there was this wonderful couple that got up and sang, and one of the guys played guitar, and maybe it was his wife that sang. We had a 4-part harmony going on something. There was a fella there that runs this thing called Mando Gym, and it's like a learning place for mandolin, and he was helping facilitate the workshop later that evening. And so I walked with him as Kaz was cleaning up, at the gig, and walked down to this other facility where we had the workshop. A couple Randy Woods there. I think I ended up seeing 4 or 5 Randy Wood mandolins over there. They know the good mandolins out there. And so that was fun, and mostly talked about staggered arpeggios there, and did the 1-point advice thing, and that was excellent. And the next day, Kaz picked me up in the morning, and we drove 3 or 4 hours to a place called Imabari. And so we arrived at this facility there, and were greeted by the Asakura Bluegrass Club, and there are about 10 or 15 of those folks there. And it was another one of those places where I was like feeling, and I didn't know that as soon as we got there, there's gonna be so many nice people to meet and to practice the little, Japanese hello, which takes me a second even now to think about konnichiwa, and then remembering the arigato gozaimasu, And so, but they were so lovely, about 10 or 15 folks there, who greeted me individually, and Kaz there, and they had sold 190 tickets to this hall in this country town. Imabari is famous, well known for textiles, and so the show was our biggest audience by far, and so that was great. And they were, and who knows how much they understand of what we're doing or trying to do, but they're nice and clapped, and we did a sound check with the Asakura Club, and they had a good banjo player, they had a good lead guitar player, and an excellent bass player, and an excellent dobro player. And so there we had the full six-piece bluegrass band there. And right before sound check, amazing fiddle player showed up, and he's playing all this like cool Kenny Baker stuff. And so that was great to hear. Just fantastic. I said, he's the best. He was great. And so he ended up joining us on stage 2. And so the show went great. And then after the show, we went to this little place, which was like, it was a little bit like I don't want to call it a hotel. There were places to stay. There were rooms, traditional Japanese rooms with like the mat on the floor. It's beautiful, like that. I can't remember what the flooring's called, but it's like the woven fabric floor. So cool. And they had prepared a feast for us there. And it's this big long table, and maybe, I don't know, 10 or 15 of the Asakura bluegrass folks showed up there, and then Kaz and me, and they really, they honored us in such a beautiful way with gifts. They gave me the towels that are well known in Imabari. That's really sweet. And they gave me a gift. Johnny was the guy who was like, he's the what they call the boss man there, the ringleader of this group. And I remember earlier in the day, I was talking to him. He plays banjo. I met him at the show, and he was just kind of talking casually. And he's like, "Do you drink sake?" And I was like, "No, I don't drink sake. I haven't drunk any alcohol on purpose in like 10 years." And he goes, "I drink sake." And sure enough, when it was time to, and he was real kind of low key. And like, before even the sound check and all that, they had this like meeting where they were talking about the show, the logistics and stuff. He was just very, very proper and a good leader in that way, chill. And then when the sake started, you could see the what's the right way to say it? The spirit come into Johnny. And I remembered it as Johnny. It was really J-U-N-I. And he was one of the most favorite people that I met in Japan, for sure. So after the excellent meal and the toasts, which were so beautiful, I had good sushi there, and then someone had brought a beautiful guitar around that had been handmade in Japan, and so that came out, and then Kaz and I were playing guitars, and boy, Kaz was really playing great. It's 2 guitars, and then other people joined in, and Johnny got his banjo, and we were just getting to be good friends. And he was telling me about Terry Balcom coming out there. It's just this funny story about something funny Terry was saying. Rainy days. I can't remember exactly how the story, but it was Johnny imitating Terry, and it was just so funny. We were just laughing our butts off. And then Johnny got out a guitar, was playing a really good rhythm, and then he got out his banjo, and he's got a really cool, gnarly style, and he just laughs and he makes cool faces when he plays. It was really fun to play with him. And at some point, Kaz got out the banjo, and Kaz's first instrument was banjo, and he's great, just like polished and great timing, great creativity, and he can play banjo backup as he sings. And it was just all so good. So we picked late into the night. I mean, it must have been 2 o'clock in the morning by the time we wrapped it up there. Just good songs and good camaraderie, and felt like we were really all on the same page. And that was really meaningful to have. Super cool, fun jam session there. The lady was playing the bass. That was cool. We were singing, and the spirit was happening, and the sake was flowing, and it was just one of those memories that'll really stick with me, how much I enjoyed that. Yeah. So the next morning, our hosts brought us to this wonderful sushi place, maybe 20 minutes northeast of Imabari. And we had a wonderful meal there that they treated us to. Sushi, and oh my gosh, it was so good. It was the one where they make just one at a time. They serve it, maybe 10 or 12 pieces of sushi, and it was great. And then 2 or 3 hour drive up to the next gig, which was Kuroshiki, this place called Guitar Trailer, and it was a place that David Greer had played not too long ago. There was an American fellow who runs it there, and he has a Japanese wife. They were very enthusiastic, and that was the first place we played True Life Blues. And I was really feeling pretty good about the mandolin playing at that point. And just feeling like the flow was there, the finesse, like the creativity. Felt like I was hitting most of what I wanted to. And then when you get in really good practice, sometimes like your little unexpected serendipitous things end up becoming some of your favorite little parts. And so I felt like that was starting to connect there, which was really cool. And after the gig, our host Scott took us down to the old town of Kurashiki, and it was so cool. This is one of the places, it's one of the oldest old towns of Japan, and it was just gorgeous. It was at night, and they had like the cool like lantern signs for the different places, and it's so clean, and there's no power lines like, you know, making things look ugly. And it just felt like you were just about back in, you know, the 1700s or something, just feeling that vibe. We had the what's it called? Yakitori, yeah, which is like, it's like shish kebab, like the meat on the stick. And it was so good, it was yummy. Then I stayed the night there, got up, had some breakfast at a cool place. It was a little bit like a Denny's. It was called like Sunshines or something like that, but the food was like really good. And so then we took the ride up to Kyoto, and we got there to this place called Honky Tonk, and we met our bass player friend who was there. And I had the idea to play Little Big Man, which is one of my dad's tunes. It's just about my favorite of my dad's tunes. You know, I really like Led Zeppelin, but there's something really special about Little Big Man. And I had the idea to play that, you know, at the last show. And something about that made me very emotional. We played it and rehearsed it, and talked to him, and it sounded good in the rehearsal. And Brooke and Gryphon hadn't gotten there yet because they had made their own way to Kyoto. And so after the sound check, I just walked outside. It was beautiful. It was like the golden hour, and I was just feeling really emotional about the whole thing because that was the last gig, and just feeling the power of the music and the family connection, and just also, you know, really wishing that, you know, mom and dad could have been there, you know, to get up and play, and just how special it has been to experience the music with them for 45 years, and to know that everything I learned from them I could take, you know, to Japan and share with these beautiful people over there who it means a lot to them too, the music. It's really powerful. I felt some tears, and it's just one of those moments, you know, that I'll never forget. And it was because of this tune, you know, Little Big Man, little mandolin tune, Little Big Man. And so we played the show, and we kept getting better. Like, it felt like every show we were kind of gaining on the dynamic, on the blend, on the phrasing, on the harmonies, on just the energy and the flow and the vibe. And it felt really good. We played the beach song, the seashore song, and you know, I got to just pay my respect to the folks there, and Kaz asked me if there's something I wanted to say, so I just did the best I could, sharing, you know, how much gratitude I had for the experience and all that. And that was the last gig. And oh yeah, so Goku showed up at that gig. Goku's a great guitar player. He plays like Tony Rice style, and that was the first time I heard that in Japan. He has cool D28 and kind of a hybrid Tony kind of clarinet style, powerful. And so that was a nice surprise. And he's a cool guy. He does like Buddhist statue carvings or something like that. And he helped get Brooke and me home, and then Gryphon rode back to the hotel with Kaz and said goodbye to Kaz. And I gave him a big hug. I know they don't do the hugs too much out there, but I just wanted to give him a big hug. And he was just so gracious. And oh, that's right, I just got a little message from Take's Bluegrass channel, because I'd sent him a little message before. And he showed up at that gig at the guitar trailer. I forgot that. That was a cool moment. And he got up and told some stories about like bluegrass boys. I think Joe Stewart. There was somebody else that he mentioned in particular too, some of these unsung heroes of bluegrass. But Take-san got up and talked, and that was cool. And then on our very last day, we did a traditional Japanese tea ceremony and dressed up, you know, kimono. It was very beautiful. And that was wonderful, just learning about the intentionality and the ritual aspect of the tea ceremony. Just very beautiful. And then on our last night in Kyoto, we did the geisha tour. And so we went to this geisha district, and learned about the culture and the history of the geisha in Japan, and walked down all these cool streets and saw these great, temples and said prayers, and that felt really good. One more little story to tell, which is very cool. So Peter Rowan, has been out to Japan multiple times. His beautiful longtime girlfriend Star is from Nagoya, which is where Gryphon had been studying, and Peter's like, you need to connect with Taro if you can. So Taro is the son of Sab Watanabe, who is like maybe the most important person in Japanese bluegrass history. He was in the Bluegrass 45, played banjo, but then he started the Moonshiner magazine with his brother, Toshio, and Sab passed away. But his son, I had met at IBMA, maybe Louisville or Owensboro, a long time ago, 25 years ago. So 20 years, that would be, so maybe around 2000, or maybe it was Louisville. And I hadn't seen Taro in 25 years. Peter's like, go, connect with Taro if you can. And so reached out to him, and he lives in the mountains near Kyoto. And he came down the mountain, and I got to pick with him for a couple hours in a studio that was owned by one of his friends. And so that was cool, just to kind of be in a Japanese recording studio. And he set up some mics, some ribbon mics, and we just picked for a couple hours and told stories and conversed and got caught up a little bit. And he is a wonderfully expansive, creative improviser. Just endless ideas, endless flow, like amazing. And he played the guitar, and he had a good, he brought a guitar, good old D28 50s, and a Henderson guitar, and so I had fun playing those. And we did the water song, the beach song, Seashore song. And he's like, do you want to understand that song more? And I was like, yeah. And so he played it. And the way he played it, the notes of the tremolo were held out a lot longer, or significantly longer, than I had been doing with the phrasing, to make it flow more like water. And so I had been kind of Americanizing, like truncating some of the bits of the melody, and those needed to flow. And so he recognized that and was able to reflect that in a way. So then he kept playing it, more flow. And that was cool. Yeah. And he's real deep into the Shinto world, and he lives in the mountains, and he was sharing some really cool esoteric stuff about things that were written on parts of the shrines there, going back to the old days, talking about Moses and the Japanese princess and flying vehicles and some of the real cool stuff that, I'm into that stuff, and that was the only conversation I had, with anybody really about esoteric stuff in Japan. So it was nice for the goddess to be like, this is here too, and if you come back, you can learn a little bit more. And so, that was a really nice way to end up the tour, getting to visit with Taro, and then the Japanese tea ceremony, and the geisha tour. And we did a little shopping and ate great food. And so, thanks for listening to my recap of the Japanese experience. Trip to Japan, see Griff and Brooke, and Kaz, our amazing, wonderful host. And so it was extremely spiritually and emotionally valuable for me. Beautiful medicine. I feel like my mind is liberated from more suffering than it was before. The attunements or transmissions that I was able to receive from Japan, just so subtle but so powerful. And the big thing, I don't have to try so hard to be something. I don't have to try so hard to be. I don't have to try so hard. Yeah. We can just be. And then talking to Peter, the ma, which is like, but pause, sacred pause. That's something that I've heard Peter talk about before. The pause in between the stuff of your mind, in between the thoughts. It can be sacred. Maybe should be sacred. Don't have to rush to the next thing. Don't have to crave for the next experience. You can just be. And that's nice. Yeah. So, gonna sign off here, neighbors, and looking forward to get back into the rock and flow and saddle with the teaching videos here. But thank you for all the support, and thank you Kaz, thank you Japan, thank you Brooke, thank you Gay, thank you Gryphon, and thank you to all the new friends and all the old friends that we met over there. And looking forward to returning soon. All right. Oh yeah, I can't forget when I was in Imabari, the lovely bass player who was there, who was one of our hosts, our hostess there, she taught me how to say thank you very much in another way, which I think is an older way of saying it from the Osaka district. And she says, O ki ni. O ki ni. And so I don't know why it was so hard for me to learn, but I guess O ki bi, O ki bi, O ki ni. So I'll leave you with that, and lots of love from Charlotte. O ki ni.
Kazuhiro Inaba-san!
I was happy as a king with the girl of my dreams until she whispered, sweetheart, I must go. Oh, I never forget the night when we met. You found me when my heart was lost. Now my heart will always yearn till the day when you return, and we dance to the overchanging walls. Where's Dr. Moose?
such an honor to meet you.
Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu.
素晴らしいナイス。ああ。